So, most respected teacher, dear brothers, sisters, dear friends, today is the 1st of June in the year 2016, and we're in Stourbridge in the old Swinford hospital on the 3rd day of our retreat. And we begin by listening to 3 sounds of the bell. So we let the sound of the bell go deeply into each cell of our body. And all we need to do is enjoy our breathing. Dear Sangha, the bell master today is Taifab Sa'a. You can see, if you look at his badge, you can see his name in Chinese. And the word Sa'a, it means inclusiveness. It means not taking sides. You can understand everyone, you can love everyone. You have room in your heart for everyone. This is what the name means. And if you receive the 2 promises or the 5 mindfulness trainings, then you will get a name like Taifab. It may not be exactly the same, but that name will show you how you can go ahead in your life, how you can practice. So Taifab, he knows that he has to practice in order to include everyone in his heart. So that is quite a thing to be able to do. Yeah. So it's wonderful to have a new name. It's wonderful. When we were just born, our mother and our father gave us a name, and we didn't have a say in that name, but then we got it. And when you receive the 2 promises, you will receive a new name, and you have a say in what your name will be, because you will write a few lines talking about what you want to do in the future, and basing on that, the brother and the sister will give you a name. So when we talk for the children, we talk about 2 promises. Have you ever made a promise in your life? Did you ever promise to somebody something? Like one day you may have promised to your mother, I promise I keep my room more tidy. And then about a week later, you forgot your promise. And your mother said, what happened? Your room isn't tidy anymore. But when we make the 2 promises, we don't make that promise with somebody else. We don't promise to our mother, we don't promise to our brother or our sister or our friend. We promise to ourselves. We just say to ourselves, this is something I really want to do. There are 2 things I want to do. And one thing, I want to understand more. I want to have more understanding. I want my understanding to grow. And the other thing is, I want my love to grow. I want my compassion to grow. So if you really want that, you really want your understanding to grow, your love to grow, then you can make a promise to yourself. So I'm going to train myself to be more understanding. I'm going to train myself to be more loving, more compassionate. And compassionate and loving to whom? Not just to people, but also to the animals and to the plants and to our Mother Earth. So our Mother Earth, she really needs the young people to take care of her. She needs the old people to take care of her also, but the young people have more time to do it because they will live for longer than the older people. So when you make this promise with yourself, you make it for your whole life. You want to grow every day. You just have a tiny bit more understanding, a tiny bit more love. You don't have to have complete understanding, complete love. You just grow a little bit every day. It's like when you're learning to play the piano or the violin, or when you're learning to play tennis or ping pong. Every day you get a little bit better at the violin or the piano, and you train yourself like that. And even if you became a concert pianist, you'd still have to train yourself every day, practice every day, in order to be able to keep playing beautifully like that. So the two promises are a little bit like that. We train ourselves to understand more and to love more. And you might ask them, how am I going to learn to understand? How can I train myself to understand? And this has something to do with your eyes. It has something to do with the way you look. And sometimes you can look at somebody and you look very deeply at that person. And when you look at them, you understand something that you didn't understand before. You know, I heard a story of a little boy and a little girl, and every morning the little boy wanted his little sister to get up in time to be able to have breakfast and go to school. And one day the brother said, "Come on, it's time to get up." And the little sister just turned over in her bed and she didn't say anything. She put the cover over her head and she didn't answer. And then he said again, "Come on, you have to get up." And she said, "No." And the brother, he didn't feel happy. He felt, well, my little sister, she doesn't listen to me. She doesn't love me. So he was annoyed with his little sister. And then he went and he told his mother, "You know, she won't get up." And the mother came upstairs and took back the bed cover and put her hand on the little girl's head and saw that the little girl had very hot forehead. She had a fever. No. So when the mother saw that, she said, the reason she doesn't want to get up is because she's not well. She has a fever, very high fever. And so when the brother, he heard that, he understood his sister and he no longer felt annoyed with her. He felt he could love her. He felt compassion for her. So this means that when we understand somebody, we can feel compassion for them. And sometime your mother or your father, they may be a little bit irritable and they may say something that you feel is a little bit unkind. And then you have to stop and you breathe and you ask yourself, why? Why did my father speak in that way? And then if you look deeply, you might think that maybe my father had a difficult day at work today. Maybe his boss at work wasn't very kind to him, and therefore he doesn't feel happy, and he speaks in that way to me. And when you understand your father, you don't feel angry with your father anymore. But maybe you look deeply, you try to understand, why did your father speak like that? Why did your mother speak like that to you? And you can't understand. And then you need to go to your mother, you can go to your father, and you can say to them, oh, today you said something which I didn't understand. I don't know why you said that. Can you tell me why you said that? Were you feeling tired? Were you feeling irritated because something difficult happened for you at work today? And then when we hear the answer, we can understand. And when we understand, we can have compassion for our mother or father. And there are things that children can do to make more happiness and to make more peace in the family. For instance, if you one day you hear your mother and your father, they don't agree with each other, they are arguing with each other. And you don't like to hear your mother and your father arguing with each other. It's much better when you see your mother and father are happy together. That is something that makes you so happy. When mother and father are not happy together, then you don't feel so happy. So you try and find a way to help there be more peace in the family. Because this will make you happy, your mother happy, and your father happy. So when you hear that your mother and your father, they are not happy with each other, they don't agree with each other, then you may like to come back to your breathing. You know that we already maybe you already have learned how to invite the bell. You know that we have a little bell you can hold in your hand and you can invite it to sound. And when you invite the bell to sound, then everybody will stop what they are thinking and stop what they are speaking, and they will come back to their breathing. But when you invite the bell, you need to feel very peaceful in yourself. So first of all, you make yourself feel very peaceful with the help of your breathing. You breathe in and out until you feel peaceful. You feel your belly rising and falling. And then you go and you take the bell and you invite it with all your love. And the sound of the bell will go out. The sound of the bell will go into your mother and into your father and help them feel more peaceful too. There was a family in Switzerland. They have 7 children in the family. The youngest child was 7 years old. And every year they came to a retreat and all the children learnt how to invite the bell on the retreat. And when they went home, they brought a bell home with them. And one day after school, the mother went to work, the father went to work, and all the 7 children went to school. And one day when everyone came home in the evening, I don't know, it was a rainy, windy day, and nobody felt happy. Everyone was shouting at everyone and arguing with everyone. Nobody wanted to help mother get the tea ready. And so the youngest child, who was only 7 years old, she remembered the sound of the bell. So she went to the place where they kept the bell. She followed her breathing until she felt very peaceful, and then she invited the sound of the bell. And you know what happened when she invited the sound of the bell? The whole family started to laugh. Mother started to laugh, father started to laugh, and everybody laughed. And the reason why they laughed was because the youngest child in the family was the only one who remembered about the bell. But you may not have a bell in your family. In one school, a teacher, he really wanted to have the bell in the classroom. But the school didn't allow it. They said, we cannot have bells in the classroom. So he asked his pupils, what shall we do? We can't have the bell. They said, never mind. Instead of the bell, one of us can clap our hands like this. And when we hear the clapping of the hands like this, we will all stop what we're doing and come back to our breathing. And that was in the mathematics class. So mathematics is something that needs a lot of concentration. In order to be a good mathematician, you really have to concentrate. And so in the mathematics class, sometimes I have a very difficult problem we have to solve, mathematical problem. And sometimes our concentration goes downhill a little bit. It's not so good. We start thinking about, what am I going to do when I go home this evening? Will I be able to play football this evening? And so on. We don't concentrate on our mathematical problem. So when the boy who is in charge of clapping his hands, he felt that the concentration in the class is not so good. He would clap his hands, and all the boys in the class would stop and they would breathe, and they wouldn't think about anything. They would just enjoy their breathing, feel their abdomen rise and fall, rise and fall. And after that, they come back and look again at the mathematical problem with much more concentration, and they became very good mathematicians. The teacher also became a very good teacher. He also sometimes became very angry. And when he was angry, he would throw the chalk at the pupils. And sometimes he would write if they'd made a mathematical homework, it wasn't very good, he would write something like stupid in the margin. But after he started to practice mindfulness, and after he started to have his clapping of the hand in the class, he didn't do like that anymore. When he started to feel annoyed or angry, he just followed his in-breath and out-breath and closed his eyes. And when he received a homework which wasn't very good, he didn't write stupid in the margin anymore. Instead of this, he wrote, "You have not understood. That is my fault." He said, that is my fault, because he felt that he hadn't explained the mathematics to the pupils enough, and it was his fault that they weren't doing very well. So we can all learn to develop our understanding and our compassion. And compassion, it means we can learn how to speak more lovingly. We can learn how to say things like, sorry, I got angry this morning. It's because I didn't sleep very well last night. It's because I'm worried about something at school. And that is why I got angry so easily. We can always say we're sorry. And this is also keeping our promise to ourselves to develop our understanding and our love. So during this retreat, you will have an opportunity to show your love and your gratitude to your mother or your father who are here with you. And you will be able to express to your mother and your father why you feel grateful to them, why you feel thankful to your mother and father, what you want to thank them for. Maybe you want to thank your mother or your father for cooking for you, or for giving you life, or taking you swimming, or bringing you to the retreat. And then after you have expressed your gratitude, your thankfulness to your mother and father, then your mother and father can express their gratitude and their thankfulness to you. So that is what we mean by the beginning anew. Beginning anew means that you are like a flower, and the person you love is like a flower. And we see that we have a flower here, and the flower, it needs water. And if you don't give it water, then it will become very sad. Its head will bend down. So we have to give water to each other. Otherwise, sometimes the flower in us, it becomes sad. So when you look at the different members of your family, the flowers in your family, and you see that they are looking sad, then you say something to them to remind them that you feel grateful to them. If you see one day that your mother looking sad, maybe you see some tear in your eye, your mother's eyes are a little bit wet, you can come to your mother and you give her a hug. Actually, you don't have to say anything. It's because you have understanding. You've understood your mother is feeling sad. So you give her a hug, and she immediately feels much better. And this is what we mean by when we say, develop our compassion, because we see that someone is suffering, and we know what we can do in order to help them to suffer less. And you don't only do that for the people, you can also do that for the animals. When you see that there is an animal who is suffering, when you see there's a little worm on the path who is drying up, you can pick up the worm and you can put it by the side of the path. And when you see an ant, you can be careful to walk to one side so you don't step on the ant, because the ant also has a family, has a mother and father, brothers and sisters, and if the ant is stepped on, then doesn't come home, then the other ants, they also feel sad. So we know how to protect the lives of animals as well as take care and show our compassion to human beings. And then we also want to protect the lives of the plants, the trees. So we don't need to go up pulling up plants and tearing off branches. If we need the branch for some special thing, we can take it off. We can ask the tree if we can have a branch. But otherwise, we leave the branch on the tree. We leave the blade of grass to grow, because we know that these things are very beautiful. They are part of our beautiful planet Earth. And the trees are helping us to breathe, because they are breathing out the oxygen that we are breathing in. So we want to protect them in order to protect ourselves. So all of us have the Buddha, we call the Buddha nature inside of us. We don't have to be a Buddhist in order to have the Buddha nature. You might be a Christian, or you might be a Hindu, or you might be Jewish, but you still have the Buddha nature. Because the Buddha nature means that you are able to wake up, you are able to understand and to love. And everyone has the seed of understanding and love in them. And when we receive the two promises, it just means that I promise to myself that I will take care of that seed of understanding and love in myself. And I will also help my mother and my father to take care of the seed of understanding in themselves. So I hope you have a wonderful day practicing together and learning more about the two promises. And when you hear the sound of the small bell, please stand up. And you can turn around and you can express your gratitude to all the adults who are here on this retreat with you. Would you like to stand up? Now would you like to go with Sister Diệu Nghiêm and Brother Pháp Mẫn?